One of my most beloved clients texted me on LinkedIn asking for a one-on-one interview prep session because she was like, I don't feel well prepared and fully confident at industry job interviews. And my first thought was, why on earth not? She's a brilliant postdoc, an expert in her field, and she has incredible leadership skills. There's no reason that she should not get this senior scientist position. So of course I texted back, you're one of my favorite clients ever. So let's get you feeling fully prepared. What do we have to do? She has to give a 20 to 25 minute presentation on herself as a scientist. And the VP of research very smartly and kindly pointed out that she doesn't necessarily have to take them through her most recent high profile scientific paper. The talk is about her scientific career. So I was like, send me your slides by Tuesday. Not because I want to spend 20 minutes of our 60-minute one-on-one coaching session watching her practice her slides. She's a great speaker. That won't be a problem. But because that presentation is essentially her extended elevator pitch, as they say in industry. And if you don't have an elevator pitch either, today we're going to discuss how to get one. If we haven't met yet, I'm Kathy Charasia, physicist and career coach for brilliant scientists who are at a career transition. My job is to help you cross that energy barrier by defining your goals and creating a strategy to reach them so that you can create a career and therefore a life that you love. And we're not going to start from scratch. Professional tip, never start writing anything from scratch. That is a nightmare and a recipe for procrastination. Start by asking yourself, what's my advisor's signature? First, what do I like about it and want to incorporate into my own signature? For example, my PhD advisor is known for how quantitative, how rigorous, how thorough his papers are. He's a master of his technique, and he does it so well because he's laser focused. I am not. I don't know how to stay in my own lane. I wasn't making progress towards my PhD, which took 7 years, by the way. And he kept telling me, you have too many projects going on at the same time. I didn't have his laser focus, and I had 0 papers, but I wanted my scientific papers to be that rigorous and quantitative. And they are. My first postdoc advisor was like, so let me get this straight. Essentially, you spent the first 2 years of your postdoc writing the supplement of this paper. And I was just like, yeah, I was Mark's PhD student. Mark is also very clear and articulate in his teaching style and his communication style. For example, he was telling us the story of how he was explaining to a collaborator what this particular single molecule technique is in such a quantitative and precise way that Victor Bloomfield, his advisor, was like, okay, you go to this conference in Vienna in my stead. I want that to be part of my scientific signature too. That people, physicists and non-physicists alike, say, your talk blew my mind. Now I understand this complex biological system in a way that I've never understood it before. Another aspect of Mark's signature stamp is how kind he is, how fun he is to collaborate with. I remember when he became department head, Alina told me, oh, I'm so glad because it's just so nice to work with him. I want that to be a part of my scientific signature. I want it to be a pleasure to work with me. Second, ask yourself, what do I dislike about this and want to be different in my own signature? No matter how much you learned from your PhD or your postdoc advisor, you're a different scientist interested in different things. For example, AFM really isn't my thing. I don't want to do it. I do want to be known for 2 single molecule techniques, but my second one isn't as quantitative. It's fluorescent because seeing is believing. And I know that that means that my stamp, my signature on my scientific papers won't be quite as quantitative and rigorous as his is. But that's the second technique that I love and I want to be known for. Great minds do not think alike. What your advisors do in the field is the platform that your research is built on, not a box that it has to fit inside. use your postdoc to draw from multiple fields and come up with your own scientific signature stamp so that your work is inspired by your advisor's work but not limited by it. But if you didn't do that, don't panic. There's other ways to come up with your scientific signature. For example, my husband used a foundational collaboration to come up with his signature. But of course, that requires that you're known for your scientific strengths. And if you don't know what those are yourself, you can find out at kathy.science/quiz. Often, you do a second postdoc to fill a hole in your scientific record. For example, one of my clients, he just got rejected from his dream faculty position in Germany. So he just got a second postdoc to improve his CV before he applies again. That's a smart career move, and I did it too. But a second postdoc is also an approach that you can use to find your scientific signature. When you're there, ask yourself, how can I put my stamp on this? The result should be something that goes beyond what they do and makes it your own, because you'll never be known for your own research if you don't have a signature stamp. And that makes it hard to get a job in academia or industry. And it's hard to be known for something that's too complicated or it takes too long to explain. So the third question to ask yourself is, how can I make it more clear and more simple? It has to be, one, evident. People can see your signature stamp on your work. Think about a real stamp. If it's too elaborate or complex, people just can't see it clearly. And two, consistent. People come from reading your work, and their impression of your scientific expertise must match what you say about your work. Unlike your purple unicorn factor, your signature stamp is an external statement. Not only does it have to be clear and concise and understandable, it has to have the ring of truth to it, which it can only have if you have the scientific record to back it up. So at industry job interviews, if someone asks you a vague, hand-wavy question like, tell me about you as a scientist, this is what you tell them, your signature stamp, your elevator pitch. You don't tell them about your latest paper. You need to nail this if you want to give good job interviews. So let's talk about what a signature is not. It is not an obligation, like this is my job and I have to do it. You're a postdoc. You define your own job. You're the expert in your field. You know your field inside and out. You know how you can play an important role in this field instead of just doing the thing that everyone else is doing. And this is how you go from postdoc to scientific independence, by recognizing this is a golden opportunity in my field. This is a unique moment in time. I want to grab it with both hands. I want to wrap my arms around it. I want to put my stamp on it because it won't come by again. And it's not a comparison. You don't have to be better than anyone else. You don't have to be better than your postdoc advisor. You just have to be different. And it's not a competition. You don't have to be before everyone else. You don't have to be ahead of your peers. You just have to be you for this to be your signature. Don't confuse your signature stamp with your purple unicorn factor, which is why you're the best in your field, what you do that no one else does. Your signature stamp does not have to pass the 99% rule, but you do need to know your purple unicorn factor in order to get your signature stamp. And if you don't know it yet, next week we're going to discuss how to find your purple unicorn factor.